Good day everyone, welcome back to another exciting and fun-filled learning on our oral com class. I am Sir AJ and I'll be your teacher for today's discussion. Before anything else, let's have a short recap, a short review regarding our previous topic about communication breakdown. So on the next slide, I have here some questions and let us try to answer them one by one. The first question is, what is communication breakdown? Communication breakdown results when the intended message of the sender is not understood exactly by the receiver, right? Now the question, what are the barriers to communication and what are those hindrances or roadblocks for a successful communication? We have the physical barrier, the psychological barrier, the cultural barrier, and the linguistic barrier. And for the last question, what are the ways to avoid communication breakdown and what are those suggested tips and ways? First, have clarity of thought before speaking. Learn to listen and keep focused. Speak intelligently. Minimize distractions. Be specific, and of course, do not jump into conclusions. Now, I think you have learned a lot with our previous discussion regarding communication breakdown. Now, as we all know, communication is the act of transferring information from one person to another. This involves the elements of communication. So going back to our first topic, okay, way back last October, this involves the elements of communications such as sender, receiver, message, encoding, decoding, the channel, the feedback, and the context. Although these elements are present in a communication process, the reason why people communicate varies. So it depends upon the purpose of the sender. That's the ultimate end why a person initiates to communicate. Now it has something to do with our topic for today, and it's all about the different functions of communications. Let me present to you first our learning objectives. First, enumerate the different functions of communication. Second, explain how each function of communication works. And analyze varied oral communication activities. Now, let us try to define the meaning of communication function. So what is this? It refers to how people use language for different purposes. And what are those purposes? Of course, to regulate or to control, to inform or to disseminate information, to interact socially, to express one's feelings or emotions, and to motivate. Starting with the first function is for regulation or control. It functions to control one's behavior. So to control is to regulate one's behavior. It can be used to control the nature or the amount of activities human engage in. Let's say, for example, when somebody tells you to stop, basically the person wants you to perform the said act, which is to stop writing, or it could be stop talking or moving, or any action being performed at the moment. So regulation or control, it could be giving of instructions or orders or making suggestions. Now, these are just some specific examples under this function. Doctor's prescription, parents' instruction to children, or friends giving an advice on what to do. So that's the first function of communication, for regulation and control. Now let's proceed to the second function, which is the social interaction. It used to produce social relationships, develop bonds, intimacy, and relations. Now, connectivity once started with a simple hi and hello, right? People communicate to interact with other people. So this is also used to create social relationships, strong bonds, or any relationship developed out of reaching out to other people. So these are some of the key words or the key activities that under the social interaction. Marriage proposal, it could be invitation or greetings, formal or informal, leave takings, apologizing, making promises, and committing oneself. Okay, these are also some examples, right? Hi, what's up? It's a pleasure to see you. Nice to meet you. I do apologize for. Would you like some tea? Take care. Goodbye. Right. So this is the second function of communication, which is the social interaction. Next, we have motivation. Functions to motivate or to encourage people to live a better life. It stimulates people to actions to accomplish a desired goal. So this communication function intends to encourage people to live life better. It refers on languages that are used to express desires or needs or wants, likes, dislikes, inclinations, choices, and aspirations. Simple words such as you can do it, right, would matter a lot to somebody who almost lost confidence to go on with the task. So this communication function enables one to lighten a load and enlighten the spirit towards a desired output, a short or long-term goal, or even develop an inspiration to live a better life. So what are some examples of words or phrases under motivation? You're coming along well. You can do it. Keep up the good work. That's good. That was a nice try. Nice job. And don't give up. Right. That is the third function of communication, motivation. The fourth one is information. It functions to convey or disseminate or give information. Right. So this function of communication enables to disseminate facts or figures and other data or information in which people consider before making decisions. Such examples are announcements or implementing rules and regulations of a new design bill, company policy, memoranda, asking important questions, requesting, and of course giving information. Some examples could be, could you tell me how to? Do you know that? I would like to know if. Would you mind telling? Or how can I? So that's the fourth function of communication, information. And then the last one, we have the emotional expression. It facilitates people's expression of their feelings and emotions. This communication function enables one to express one's emotion, be it love or hatred, joy or melancholy, fulfillment or scarcity. All of the people's emotions are expressed according to how one facilitates his feelings. So these are just some examples. What a great idea! Congratulations! Really? What? Oh my goodness! Wow, you are kidding. So this is the fifth function of functions of communications. Now, aside from these 5 functions of communications, we also have the verbal and the non-verbal cues, right? Okay, so what are those? First, we have the verbal cues. Communication using words. So it is a spoken or written message used by a person to express himself, right? Now, we could have this type of verbal cues. We have pause. So a speaker pauses between utterances in order to allow listeners to process what the speaker has spoken. Another is the loudness or the softness. So depending on the speaker's style, emphasis can be achieved by either speaking loudly or softly. In addition, other emotions can be expressed using the loudness or softness of the voice. Next, we have the rhythm. The way a speaker talks that can be a powerful tool to engage listeners, right? So rhythm refers to the speed and flow of a speaker's utterances. Next, we have repetition and rephrasing. Unlike in reading, a listener cannot go back to what a speaker has spoken, right? So if the speaker did not understand that particular utterance, as part of the speaker's effort to help the listener understand, the speaker will do well to repeat his or her utterances. Okay? Next, we have tone. So the tone of voice is essential in communicating effectively. The tone of voice often shows the attitude of the speaker toward the topic or the listeners or the audience. And then the last, we have the appropriate form of language. So a speaker must use the appropriate form of language to be used in a given setting. Okay? So if we have verbal cues, we also have the non-verbal cues, right? So communication involves expressing oneself without the use of words. And what are those? First is the facial expression, right? A speaker's facial expression must match the topic of discussion. We also have the kinesics, comes from the root word kinesis, which means movement, and refers to the study of hand, arm, body, and face movements. We also have what we call the oculesics, or the eye contact. So a term derived from Latin word oculus, meaning eye. So when a speaker maintains eye contact with his or her listeners, he or she gives the impression of being serious about what is being discussed, right? Next, we have the haptics, or the touch. It refers to non-verbal signal transmitted through touch, which is an important part of communicating. We also have the olfactics, right? When we say olfactics, it refers to the transmission of message through smell even without being verbally told. We also have the chronemics. So it refers to time. It is a non-verbal signal which is not directly stated but communicates a characteristic of a person. We also have we have the chromatics, or for color. It refers to the communications of message through colors. We also have the gustorics. It is a non-verbal symbol that refers to taste. It can communicate pleasure, displeasure, or warning. And then the last, we also have the proxemics. So it refers to the use of space, right, to give a message or to communicate to somebody. Okay, so these are the non-verbal cues. Okay, so with that, let's try this simple activity. I want you to describe the following situations and tell me what function of communication is being shown in every situations. The first one is, where does AJ spend his summer vacation? What do you think? Alright, that is information. Next, that's fantastic. Right, that's emotional expression. Listen to me attentively. What is that? Okay, that's control or regulation. Can you go there, please? Okay, what is that? Okay, that is for control and regulation also. I'm happy to see you again. That is for social interaction. EU, that is for emotional expression. Keep going. Alright, for motivation. Go for it. And that's also for motivation. And how are you? That is for social interaction. Okay, so again, let's go back to our key takeaways for today's discussion. So we'll discuss about the functions of communications. We have motivation, information, emotional expression, social interaction, and control and regulation. Alright. Now, for your offline activity, as you can see, we have here 9 emojis or emoticons. I want you to copy these emojis or emoticons using your face, your emotional expressions. You are angry or sad or smiling faces, so it's up to you how are you going to copy these emojis as creative as you can, and then try to upload that in our Google Drive. Okay, so do you have any questions? Alright, so if you don't have any questions, I think that's all for today. So thank you so much, keep safe, and God bless us all.